The problem with small independent real estate brokerages. If you're a licensed real estate agent today, especially if you're assessing the playing field, trying to figure out where to go next, or even if you're in the right spot that's going to be most conducive towards your growth, I think it's important to understand some of the key differences between a small independent brokerage and some of the bigger, more established brand names that you might come across in your local market area. And if you're new to the channel, my name's Tyler Roicki. I help people build income and wealth in real estate, and I run an international real estate team at eXp Realty. If you get any value whatsoever out of this video, all I'd ask is that you hit that subscribe button so that I can continue to share more tips and resources with you in the time ahead. Now, that being said, let's dive into the video. So before I break down the problems and at least things to take into consideration, let's point out what the pros are. What could be some of the benefits of operating with a small independent brokerage? Well, there may be a positive establishment as far as the local brand name and reputation. It doesn't hurt to have that by any means. In fact, you want to have a positive reputation with whoever it is you're running with. Also, while cost and fee structures will vary tremendously between different small independent brokerages, it is possible that you will find a lower cost structure. Now, on the flip side, it might be the exact opposite. So assess that, but just gonna throw it out there. There are smaller brokerages that have a minimal cost structure out there. So that might be one of the benefits for you. But beyond that, the most likely reason that you're gonna run your business at a small independent brokerage, or that you had selected one up to this point, is based on somebody you know. In fact, that's the most common reason why a real estate agent selects the brokerage that they did, is because they knew someone there, whether it be the broker owner or a relationship with somebody within the firm who made that connection for them. Now, that being said, when we're talking business, when we're talking life, is it most important that you go with somebody who you know because you know them, or is it important to assess the factors at play as far as how that bigger entity that you're a part of can help position you for success over the course of time as you're operating your own real estate business? Because that's what we're doing. So that being said, like, what are the problems? The select few. So first off is you're gonna have a tendency to have limited support and help. And this is actually one of the most common things that I'll hear from agents that are operating out of small independent brokerages, which is that the help is lacking, if it is even there at all. And again, it can vary place by place. I'm not necessarily saying every single one is the same, but there will be a tendency for there to be less of it because economies of scale generally aren't going to be at play. I mean, when it's a small brokerage, small operation, it's likely that your help and support structure is dependent on one, maybe two people. So if you're putting yourself in a position as a business owner, in real estate at least, where you're dependent on one or two people for your entire support network, I would say that's a risky proposition. And I say that because on the flip side, there's scenarios out there where you would have a whole lot more people to lean on for help and support with the various things you could possibly need when you need them. So limited support and help is the first problem with small independent brokerages. The second problem is there's going to be a tendency for there to be limited training. And so question with that is, what training do you have available? Who are you going to lean on and learn from to actually learn the ins and outs of the business and how to take your business to the next level from where it is today? Do you have the ability to learn from someone active in the trenches, applying what they might be teaching you today? And at the end of the day, if your training is dependent on one or two people, it's really going to come down to what their own personal experience is. But regardless, there's going to be a limited capacity in that scenario for there to be a truly depth of experience within the training. Meaning, how many things can one person really have honed in and become very skilled at and an expert on? It's likely that you're truly only going to learn the stuff that they are personally hands-on familiar with. And at the end of the day, that may or may not line up with what you actually want to do. Like, for instance, something I commonly see in our industry is newly licensed agents, when they get a mentor, which it's not a given that every newly licensed agent stepping in this industry would have a mentor, but when they get a mentor, there's a tendency that they get too caught up on learning how to generate leads from them. And the problem with that is there's literally 100 ways to generate leads in real estate, truly more than that. But if you're dependent on that one person, you're only going to be learning what they have honed in and are great at, which may or may not. And honestly, it's likely it doesn't line up with what you would truly be great at if you learn from someone who is skilled at doing it. So I would put a word of caution as limiting your knowledge base and skill set and what you're learning to what one or two people are doing. And that's the risk and problem with smaller independent brokerages, is there's going to be a tendency for there to be a lack of training and truly a limited amount of people that you have the ability to learn from within the actual brokerage itself. Third problem I would point out is something I call big fish, small pond. And it's easy in a small local independent brokerage to get to a point where you are the big fish in the small pond, if you even get there at all, given the first couple things I mentioned with the support, help, and the training. But like, let's say that you still manage to succeed and progress and become the top producing agent in that local office. Here's the question. Then what? Are you really in a position to learn and grow if you are the one prospering the most in that environment? And I would tell you, no. You want to be surrounding yourself. If you want to grow, I mean, if you don't want to grow, maybe you found your home. But if you want to grow, if you want to build and improve, it's important to put yourself in an environment where you are not the big fish in the small pond. You'd be better off being in a whole ocean that is filled with much bigger fish than you, because that's how you're going to have the ability to learn and level up and figure out how you can truly take your business and life to the next level. And you're going to find more examples, if you got a growth mindset, of people who are in that environment who will inspire you to actually do more and become more in the process. So I caution, don't become a big fish in a small pond. And if you are today, let's have a conversation and see what else is out there in this ocean that exists in the world around us. And the fourth problem with small independent brokerages is there's going to be limited leads or resources to get leads. And here's the reality of the matter. A lot of agents aren't aware of this, but real estate brokerages in general that have under 30 agents typically are not profitable unless the broker themselves is very active in production. Best case scenario, if it's a small brokerage, they're going to have limited financial resources to invest in providing their agents with more leads and resources to go and get them, because like, reality is it costs money. Leads cost money. There is a cost per lead. It tends to be multiple dollars, and there is a way to get that cost down if you as an agent have the right tools and resources. But if your broker is paying for something, there is a significant cost per lead. And if they're not even turning a profit, like, how are they really going to supply that? And to what extent could they actually, even if they were cutting into their own pockets to do it? And so it's the reality of the matter. And that's why economies of scale are so important, not just like in the capacity for you to have more support and more training, but also like, what can your brokerage actually provide to help you get more business? And that's a big thing a lot of people completely miss, because I think a lot of times people don't realize just exactly what else is out there to help you get more clients and ultimately closings in the pipeline with a larger company that actually has the financial resources to do more on that front, because they have more agents and they're at a threshold where they are clearing profitability, which it's important for a business to get to that point. Now, the fifth problem with small independent real estate brokerages is limited opportunity. See, the biggest opportunity that we will have as an agent is going to be typically to sell more houses in our own local market and earn more commission. So we get paid in direct proportion to the results we produce. And that's going to be true with the small independent brokerage, even the larger companies out there for the most part. But the key with this is, as long as you're a part of a small local independent brand, you're going to have a limited ability to expand beyond that immediate market area or to acquire equity and ownership in a company that's actually of value. And that may or may not mean a lot to you right now, but let me just put it this way. If you had the option of only being able to get paid based on your own commissions and sales, or if you have the option to do that as well as get paid out of the ownership share of a profitable real estate company, which of those two options would you take? Because option two, you get option one plus something. And that plus something can be very significant in the right circumstance. So that's why I mean a limited opportunity. And that aside, like I said too, if you have a vision to grow and scale, you're probably never gonna truly have that opportunity as long as you're a part of a small local independent brand, because they tend to operate in that local market area, and there's not a lot of scenarios that I see out there where there's truly a vision to grow and scale that. And even if there was, and you're the one who was gonna do that, like I would really assess, are you in the best possible situation to actually do that? Would you rather be the pioneer here with this small name brand, seeing if when you start building and growing, if you actually have the back end support you need for the agents who are involved with that? Or would it be better if you plugged into an existing system and structure that's been proven to allow someone to grow and scale beyond a local market area? So food for thought, but like those are the 5 problems with the small independent brokerage. And I'm speaking from my own experience. I have been with the small independent brokerage. There were a lot of positives as far as why I was there for the time I was, but at the end of the day, as my business grew, I found that it was no longer the best place for me to be if I wanted to continue to grow not just my sales production, but ultimately what the opportunity would be for me to truly make the most of having my real estate license and helping as many people as I could possibly do with that. So I hope you found this insightful, and here's something I put on your mind. If there's anything I mentioned in this video that you'd like to perhaps have a conversation with me about, get more of my take and insight as you're looking to position yourself in the best place you can with your real estate license today, I'd be more than open to connecting and having a conversation with you. So do this, send me an email. You'll find that in the description below. Let me know where you're at in the business today, what your vision is looking forward, and what I said in this video that stood out to you, if anything, and happy to connect more. And also, if you got value out of watching this video, if it caused you to think, whatever the case might be, all I'd ask is that you hit that subscribe button so that I can continue to share more tips and resources with you in the time ahead. And that being said, thank you so much for watching the video. Until next time, I'll look forward to seeing you on the next video.